Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at doing this model using Solidworks. Now this should be a super easy model to create, but we will have to create a three-dimensional sketch, and from the instructions that you see at the bottom we are going to have to do the shell command. So if any of that interests you, just go ahead and stick around. So let's go ahead and jump over to Solidworks. Okay, so here in SolidWorks, what we're going to do is start off by selecting the new icon here. We'll go to Part, and we're going to select OK. Now this part is going to be done in inches, so I will go ahead and change the units here at the bottom right. So we'll go ahead and select the fly up. Let's go to the inch pound seconds. And then we're going to go ahead and start with a three-dimensional sketch. So I'll just select the Sketch tab here. In the drop down, click 3D Sketch. Then let's click the line command. I'm going to click the origin here, and I'll go this direction. And so what I like to do is I'll kind of go ahead and start off by sketching like 3 lines here. So I'm just going to send it this way. I'm not going to really lock it to this axis, although I can, but I'm just going to kind of give it here. And then I know I kind of fold out this way, and then let's go down. Okay. So those are going to be the first 3 lines that we have here. And the first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that you know which way your UCS is pointing. So when I select this line, I want it to go with the Z-axis. So I'm just going to tell it alongst the Z-axis. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a distance right here. So I'm going to go ahead and type in 5. Alright, let's go ahead and do this next line here. This one is going to go along the X-axis. So along the X. And then we're going to go ahead and give it its parameter of 6. Okay, we do have one more line that we're going to discuss right now. Let's go ahead and select this line here. We're going to send it down the Y-axis. And then we're going to give this one a height of 7. Alright, so my first 3 lines are kind of already created for me, right? Let me go ahead and put this back in an isometric by selecting the space bar. And then I can select that icon there. Okay. So now let's go ahead and put some dimensions on here. So we'll put the dimensions, and these parameters are already set for us, so we're not going to have to type in any numbers since we automatically did that. Let's go ahead and do that dimension. We have a dimension on here. And you can see the benefit of doing something along that line actually in the parameters is that it does save us from having to come back and do them here. Alright. So now we have our first 3 lines created. Let's go ahead and add some more lines on here. Let's go back to the line command here. And now remember that we have an angled line going downward this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of sketch that out, going one line going kind of at an angle, one line coming sharply back. And then let's go ahead and send this right back to that point. Okay. So with this line, this is going to be my first one here. And what I'm going to do is say, send it alongs the Y-axis. It does have a parameter, so I'm going to do the 10 minus 7, which should be 3. And then I'm just going to also tell it, since it's here, go ahead and make it a construction line. Okay, let's go ahead and escape out of that one. Let's select this line here. This is going to go along the X-axis. It's going to have a distance of 8. So let's go ahead and change that distance of 8 here. And it's going to also be a construction line. Okay, so those 2 lines help define what's happening here. Now let's go ahead and put the finishing dimensions on it. So we'll go ahead and add the smart dimensions. Go ahead and place one here. That should be 8. And then we're going to place the other dimension alongst this line here, which should be 3. Alright, so everything is, behaving exactly like it should be, and everything is turning black, which is defining that it is fully defined so far. Let's go ahead and place our next lines on here. So we're going to have a line now that comes up here, and it goes somewhere along here, and then we're just going to send that line somewhere here. Okay, now this one was able to pick up that it's going to be amongst the Y-axis. I can verify that by selecting it. Then I can tell it stay along the y-axis, which it did. Go ahead and give it a parameter, which is 10. And that should be all that we need for that line. Okay, let's escape out of that one, and then we'll select this line here. We know we want to sing this one along the x-axis. And then we want to give it a distance of 5. Okay, so we do have certain relationships that we can also add. You can see that these two lines will be on the same plane. So I can select this line, hold down the shift button and select this one as well. And then just go ahead and make them collinear. And that will, help satisfy and keep that line there. Let's go ahead and put our final dimensions on here. So I'm going to go ahead and place a dimension here. And this one should have a height of, a distance of 5. Let's go ahead and place that again. It looks like I accidentally selected the midpoint there. So that's going to be a 5. Okay, so everything is fully defined. We don't have to put a height here because we locked these two collinear. Otherwise, we would have had to put a dimension there. Now, we do have a radius. So all of these radii are going to be a radius of 1. So I'll just go ahead and use the 2D fillet here. I'm going to set this number equal to 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just go ahead and select these endpoints here. And that's what we're going to use to define those radii. I'm just going to keep selecting these endpoints. And once I'm done, go ahead and hit the check mark here. Looks like everything on this one is done. Let's go ahead and hit the check mark here. And then we're going to exit the sketch. Okay, so our 3-dimensional sketch is created. Next, let's go ahead and create a 2-dimensional sketch. So I'll select here. Just going to expand this one. Then I'm going to go find the front plane. Remember that my origin is set here. I'm just going to rotate this sideways just so I can see it. I'll go to a circle. Click this origin point, and then I'll create my circle. So escape out of there and put 1 dimension onto this one. Okay, and now the diameter of this circle should be what, 1.25. All right, and I think this is about everything we're going to need to create this 3-dimensional sketch. So let's go ahead and exit out of this sketch here. Then we're going to go to the Features tab. We'll choose Sweep, Boss Base. Now it should pick up the sketch, which is the closed profile. Now it's looking for the path, which is going to be here. And always remember, anytime you see Sweep, you're going to need a profile and a path. Everything else on here is fine. Let's go ahead and hit the check mark here. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and just shell this, right? So we're going to go to shell. We're going to give it basically the thickness, which is located here. So I'm just going to type in 0.125 as my thickness. And then we're going to select the ends that's going to be open. So I want to open that end and this end. Let's go ahead and OK this or accept it. And now this one is actually completed, right? So hopefully this was kind of, educational to you. And please let me know if there's something that I may have did wrong or you may not understand. But thank you for watching this. And as always, keep drafting.